Let's head back to the voicemail of Truth and Reason.
Hey, what's up, Dave? Taylor from Columbus. You mentioned Zak Zinter being a miss. And I said in the chat that I was going to call and ask you about that. Where is he? Why doesn't he play? I know he's had a few injuries since he's been drafted, but is he really a miss? Was he that bad of a draft pick? Can you please elaborate and tell us what's going on with Mr. Zinter?
As always, appreciate all the voicemails. Pete, I think you and I have talked about this. He's a guy that hasn't been able to get active on most days when there's healthy linemen. That's a pretty good indication he's not close to being ready to play and would be a miss as a third-round pick.
So earlier in the year, there was a plausible excuse, which is they had Joel Bitonio, they had Wyatt Teller, and Tevin Jenkins was your next guy up. So as the fourth guy, you'd naturally be inactive and you could sit there and go, well, he's developing. And then this past week, unfortunately, Zinter got hurt. So they were thin and then he couldn't play, so he couldn't really test himself. The overall issue with Zak Zinter, in my view, is that they switched offensive schemes for Deshaun Watson to try to get something out of that investment to make it work. They made the change to coordinators, offensive line coach. They went to a more gap-heavy scheme, and they drafted Zak Zinter. They do that for 1 year, then immediately bailed on it. And then Zak Zinter's suddenly in a scheme that doesn't make a whole lot of sense for him. Now, I think some of that is just that Zak Zinter's probably not very good. Overall, I think it's probably reasonable that the Browns are going to bring him back next year just to see if in year 3 something clicks for him and he gets better. Maybe it's at center. But I am sort of expecting that whether it's sometime in the offseason or like August, they're probably going to trade him for pennies on the dollar as just a guy that does not work in this scheme, assuming everybody's still in place here, that they will then just move on to the next one. And there's a part of me that wants to make that move quicker just because I sort of have this theory of the case that I think they should use all of their roster space that they're going to have with the offensive line to take as many swings as possible this coming offseason to sort of tackle that group.
And to be fair, I liked the pick when he was coming out of Michigan. I thought he was going to be better than he is. So I will take that one as one I was wrong on.